SoFi is closed at 21.20 today, with the back and forth battle continuing after hitting that $22.74 level. Now the question is, how long are we going to chop within this range? Will buyers get that leg up past 22 and within that territory try and reach that 25, or are sellers going to push stock back down, seeing a retracement after an overextended run up? Now, starting this analysis on the weekly time frame, guys, like we explained in our SoFi videos, we are in a very pivotal spot as that $25 and $22 limit haven't really gotten hit up until this IPO-like range. So we got that IPO, came to that 28.26, retrace back down, and we see a tap of that 25, come back down, creating a cup-like formation, and a tap of that 25, double topping, and then we see a further move down, creating this long-term cup and handle, right, guys? We get in this formation, consolidating for roughly 2.5 years, and we see a cup get formed. See a descending like range here, and we pop out of that. And now this is the current overextended move after we popped out of that descending channel where price is continuing to ride. And we are pressed right up against that $22 level, right where we saw price get above a couple times before double topping and seeing a huge retracement down. Now the difference here is, guys, once we get to that level, we saw a candle right through that huge top wick showing a lot of selling pressure, and we try to get above that but cannot, and we flush down. Once again, price barely closes above that range. Buyers try to push it higher for a couple weeks there, guys, and we get shut down into a longer move down. Now, if we go and retrace right here, guys, we have a little bit more of a hold up. You see we hit that 22.74, given this top wick right here, guys. Hold tight. Once we kind of rejected off that spot, sellers tried to push us down, given that bottom wick there. Really try to push us down to around that $19.80 to $19.70 level. But buyers buy it right back up, guys, and we see we do try to press that exact 22 zone again, but we have a little bit of indecision. Lots of buying pressure here as sellers try to step in there. And after this very overextended move, you would think that if they get a rejection of 22, you would see a pretty nice retracement. Sellers step in, and sellers really try to step in here, guys. The fact that we bought that right back up, good sign for the buyers, given that this move was all the way from that 852 to that $22 level. So a rejection there, you would typically see a little bit of a retracement and then possibly a move back up. So it does show that the buyers are very much still in that ultimate control of the stock. So the weekly chart shows a very healthy stock still. It's pretty common to see a bit of indecision as we're hitting a very important spot here at that $22 level. Now, guys, take you to the daily, we see a better view of that overextended run. So we get that top of around 1845, and it creates this descending range. So we see very volatile descending range here. As we get in it, we get a huge move up. Buyers try to hold to the top of that range, but we get shut down all the way to the bottom, hitting with that descending support. And we get a little bit of a move up, topping at that 1390, which pushes us back down within this range, kind of breaking that descending support, but we find the bottom at 852. So let's try to win that battle by pushing us under that range, but buyers buy it right back up, and we kind of just ascend to that spot. Little volatile, but not as volatile as we saw in the past there, guys. Hit that spot again, and we get rejected, and then we hold higher and much, much tighter, as this entire range was very volatile. You see a lot of volatile chop. So we see price in a very clear ascending profile there, guys. A little bit of a new ascending support, a little bit of a gap up above that resistance, which would break us out of that descending channel. See a little bit of battle. Buyers try to hold us over there, but sellers push us back under. It doesn't take long, though, for buyers to retest that zone, and we do claim and get over that zone. Now, instead of seeing a huge volatile move out of that zone, we kind of just bleed out. But once we really solidify that move out, right, getting to around that 1390, breaking that, furthermore, that 1480, which really held up as resistance here, as well as the more recent resistance, which we tried to test again, brought us down. So once we fully got above that, you see, guys, buyers have to step in and make a big move to get above that. Very nice green wide bar showing a shift in momentum. For traders new to the channel, we do love this sign, as a green wide bar showing an obvious shift in momentum. Shows that buyers are really ready for a big move up, and shows that they have taken demand over the stock. We see this bar engulfing this previous candle, and stemming from that, sellers try to step in, but then buyers continue their battle up. And we get a very nice move all the way up to that $22 level, right? Not a lot stopping it, guys. Just like a rocket ship all the way to that level after breaking out of that range. But even before breaking out of that range, right, once we hit that 852, guys, we are really on the up. We had a little bit of indecision here, given that this is an extremely long-term resistance, right? And we've tapped that several times, getting in this descending formation. But nevertheless, we get out of that range, and we really see price pick up once we really solidify our movement out and get over those important resistances of 1390 and 1480. So beautiful price action, and given this extremely overextended run up, guys, we can mark this out here. Once we kind of broke out of that range, talking about a 70-ish% movement, and that's not even counting the absolute bottom of this big move up. We don't see a pullback, right? We see some obvious resistance at that 22, as we saw on the weekly. Very important spot to get above, as once we blew past that 22, guys, we tested 25 both times. Given that this is old price data, but very good to look at as we're finally trending back to this range, right? So we tap off that 25, that's where we reject both those times, but each time we did get above that 22, guys, and we did go for that test. So that is a good sign to see, given that we are holding up pretty nicely here. But right, we had that huge move up, and instead of getting pulled back, we're just holding tight, kind of chopping around, consolidating. Looks to me like a flag and pull, guys, right? That huge overextended movement up. And now we're kind of chopping out. You see that sellers try to push us under that range, but for traders who are newer to reading charts, if you see a massive bottom wick like that, that means there's a lot of buying pressure, right? So the sellers try to push us down all the way to around that 1990 to 1980 level, but we ended up closing around that $21 level. So it shows that buyers are in that control as sellers try to make a movement down and find that pullback. They can't find that pullback, and we stay within this range of 2073 and 22, and we continue to chop. I think this is showing us that we're kind of gearing up for a big movement up after we got that overcenter run up. We're kind of chopping sideways. I do think we're going to get another test of that $22 level, breaking through that 22.74 and possibly testing all the way up to that 25. That's our price target at the moment. Unless some drastic bad news really brings down SoFi, guys, I think we're looking very good for that retest and to get over that level. All right, guys, now on the hourly, once we see stock get within that $22 zone here, we see that chop a bit better on that 2073 and that $22.06 level. So we get within that range. We see buyers continue that movement up. We see a stair step like pattern, right? Not a lot holding the buyers back. We see big moves up, small retracements, huge moves up, small retracements, and we kind of just go in that fashion. Find that bit of chop there, but then we do end up moving up to that $22 level, right? We break through that obvious resistance point, and that's where sellers step in. So sellers find a point to step in, given that's a very obvious resistance there. So sellers step in for a bit, try to push us down, really finding that pullback movement, given we're on an overextended run up and we're testing a very major resistance. They cannot do that, and we meet back within this range and we find a bit of hourly ascending support, and we get that move up, kind of testing that 22 again, but we do get shut down pretty quickly, and we're currently back on this hourly ascending support. So yes, there is some selling pressure here, but there's a ton of buying pressure at the bottom of this range. So I think that we do end up going back and forth a bit before finding that retest of 22 and possibly breaking over it. If volume and volatility can really come in here on SoFi, guys, I think we could be seeing a pretty drastic move, blowing past that 22 and really getting within that zone of 22 and 25. If the bears do get in control, guys, and kind of retest that pullback again and end up pulling us back, you'd want to be looking for levels like 1845 or that level where it could fill that gap right there, looking around that, 1929 range. But I do think we end up getting that movement up. Got to look at both sides, though, as we are very overextended here. So that's the only thing I'd give the bears a point on. We are extremely overextended, and we are reaching a major resistance. But the way price has been reacting, and even on the closest time frames, the way that we've seen this massive buying pressure after trying to get pushed down by the sellers, and we continue to ride this ascending support here. I definitely do think we look good for the buyers here for a retest of that 22, and I think that we do break through that. Given price history, every single time we've gotten to that $22 level, we have gotten to that $25 level. We haven't broke over it every single time as we see here, but nevertheless, we have gotten to that 25. So our prediction stays the same, guys. I think we do look good here on SoFi. Makes sense that we see a little bit of chop, right? We're reaching a very major resistance point after an extremely overextended run. So that's all I got for you guys. SoFi still looks very good here. We see that massive buying pressure. We hold tight, consolidate. We don't get that pullback when sellers try to pull us back. Textbook flag and pull, textbook big run up and consolidation. And we look good for that retest of 22 and possibly blowing past that. Check for that volume to get into play, as we are in a little bit of a descending profile slash kind of a static zone. So volume can really spike here, guys. We could definitely be aided with a big movement past that 22. Now, let me know your price predictions in the comments below. Let me know what you guys are thinking, short term, long term. You guys bullish or bearish? We are bullish on the channel. That's all I got for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more SoFi content. And as always, trade smart, and I'll see you all in the next one.